All right, friends, welcome back. Today is a glorious day. We got power. Little Cake and I, we are very excited. Yeah, I love her. She's so excited. She's been in the AC today. She go girl. Yes, we are all very excited. We finally got power back on, so that has been a blessing. Thank you to the linemen, thank you to all the people that have worked really hard to get our power back on. So that has been wonderful. We are excited about that. So I was able to take a real shower. You know, all the stuff that you take for granted, basically. And it's glorious, y'all. That's all I can say. We're so grateful. Even Luna's happy. She's over here. You happy, girl? Yeah. Oh goodness, sweet girl. It's always good to see Luna. You happy? And then I bring you back outside. Yeah, that's what I did. All right, so Mr. Toby's still here. He's over here in the corner. So my parents have been, they had 2 to 3 inches of water in their house. So they are working at trying to get the drywall taken out, part of it anyway. They have oak wood on the bottom of their floor, so that borders the walls, like a baseboard, but it's oak wood. So it was like special, and so they're trying to take that out. The kids have been out of school because the school system's not in right now, because the schools had a lot of damage done to them. So they are dealing with that, having the kids, not dealing with it, you know, they love the kids, so it's not, nobody's dealing with it, but it's just stuff that, you know, they're working through. And so the kids are supposed to go back to school on Wednesday. There was a lot of schools that had damage. One of the subdivisions, or a couple of them actually, they are also still without power. So we have the ring, so a lot of like messages are popping up on it, and it just keeps saying like, well, we haven't even been able to get back into our homes. We've had flooding, we've had it's just been really bad here. Like, so how are my kids supposed to go to school? We can't even get into our subdivisions. There's cops blocking our subdivisions. And so they are concerned about that for their kids. I don't know, you know, that's a good question. I guess you'd talk to your assistant superintendent about those questions, or the school maybe, in regards to what you can do with your kids if you're in one of those subdivisions. So I feel really bad for them. It's probably very traumatic for the kids to have gone through this and then, you know, staying in some strange place potentially, or a hotel, until all this stuff gets resolved. So we got to take that into consideration. See Little Cake while we're talking. She probably doesn't like the sun in her eyes, honestly. I don't blame her. All right, so let's see. We're still having issues with gas. When I came home today, I had to go to work today, which was fine. When I came home, I got in the turn lane to turn into my house, basically, like this one, like basically I was in like the right hand lane, and it was so backed up with traffic because people, one of the Circle K's here got gas, and people were just lined up like insane. So there have been people in Hillsborough County, the cops have been arresting them. They literally have been pulling guns out on people. That's what I said, the natives are getting restless. And so one of the things you have to keep in mind, and you know, this is part of like my prepper mentality, is because I'm a prepper at heart, honestly. Like, I might not be a good prepper, but mentally, like, I really want to be like a good prepper. And I try to teach my nephews that, and my brother does too. My brother encourages like being prepared, because, you know, it's just good, because you never know what's gonna happen here in Florida. You never know with like food shortages. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We're in day 5, and I was telling you guys yesterday that the natives are getting restless, and that you've got to have your peacemaker. I hope y'all understand what I mean when I'm saying peacemaker, right? Like, we understand. We understand what I'm saying? So you gotta have a peacemaker because we're in day 5. And so one of the issues that we're also experiencing is that my sister-in-law tried to go to our local grocery store, which is a Publix, and we have them in such short distance between us. Like, honestly, there's like 3 right in a row. There's just like da-da-da. And so apparently she tried to go to like 2 of them, and there is no meat in the stores, like none. And I don't know if that's because a cooler went out or something like that, but there's no meat in the stores. And there is no milk. So I have a little niece, so there's no milk for her, which to me I'm perfectly fine with because I'm lactose intolerant. There's plenty of alternative like things, but I know for them that's their prerogative and they like to give their kids milk. So, you know, so be it. I'm not here to tell you how you should or shouldn't run your life in that regard. But yeah, so that's been happening. So we have food shortages. I think people are over the whole toilet paper situation. I know that was like a big deal at first. People were like hoarding toilet paper. Like, folks, toilet paper is made in the United States. Like, stop it. Like, you're not gonna have diarrhea necessarily, or like need to wipe a lot. If anything, you're gonna be going in a bucket like we had to do because you're on a septic system. So, I mean, that's just reality. Like, people were talking about that at my job today. They were just like, what did you do? We know you're on a septic and a well. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's called a bucket. Listen, in Florida, you got to learn the way of camping, and that's part of the way. So, you got to do the bucket, man. That's just how it is. So, you know, I'm just keeping it real on this channel. So, yeah, I mean, it's still crazy out there. People are still wild. People are still acting up. Like I said, you know, when you've got food shortage, when you've got gas shortage, this is the time that you're really going to start to see people just get irate because people need to go to the store and they need to get stuff after the storm because they didn't have a generator, so they've lost everything in the refrigerators. That's what people were saying, is that they spent like $300 or $400 before the storm. They didn't have a generator. Like, one of my supervisors was saying this, and that she was like, I had to throw everything out. And I was like, yeah, man, because you got to get a generator. She's like, it's on my list now. She's like, having a generator is on my list, which in Florida, if you own a home or something where, you know, you can have a generator or you need a generator, like, you really need to think about that. I know it's a large investment and you may not need it all the time. And I know that's kind of like, people kind of debate that, but honestly, I'm a native Floridian, so you gotta have a generator, friends, because it's just important this day and age. And they're much quieter than they used to be. My parents have one and it's very loud, but nowadays you can get a really good generator that's kind of quiet. I mean, they're not super quiet, but you know, it's decent. So you're not like, it's not like a lawnmower going like da 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 da, you know, it's much more quieter. So ours is, for sure. So I was so glad we were able to turn that thing off. We are still keeping our gas, though. We're not going to pour it into our vehicles. We're going to hopefully be able to get gas. I'll keep my eye out. Today was my first day back at work, so I'm not really too concerned with gas just yet. My Traverse is actually pretty good on gas, thankfully. Much better than my truck. My truck only gets like, I don't know, like 18. I don't even think I get that. I think I get like 15 miles of the gallon or something in my truck. So my Traverse gets much better gas mileage. So, but I will keep my eyes open. Like, when I start to get to like maybe, you know, I burned up like a quarter of a tank or something like that, I'll probably be trying to stop somewhere and get gas and just keep topping it off. I know there's another storm out there. We just literally got power. I know a lot of people are complaining their internet's not up. We are working off of 5G. So in order for me to get these videos uploaded, and so now that we have power, that's great, but we still don't have the internet. So I'm gonna have to upload through 5G again. So that's kind of been a challenge in itself, but at least we have it, because otherwise we're just super dependent on the internet itself, which hasn't come through that well. But you know, in a Cat 3 storm, come on folks. We're blessed to just have a roof over our head right now. So I'm grateful for whatever we have, that's for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, these are just things that y'all need to be thinking about. as far as we move forward. I know a lot of people can't right now because they're just trying to process putting, you know, their house back together. And I need to take y'all down to the end of the lake. A lady that we know, her name is Miss Nancy, and she has an orange grove. My uncle knew her very well. My uncle that moved up to Georgia, and she has a giant hole in her roof. I mean, like, it's like the big chunk of the back part of her house, like the living area of her house, and that is just disheartening. Like, a lot of my friends were saying that they've had shingles like ripped off their roofs. They've had a lot of damage. That's what I said. It depends on which area you go into, but it definitely has war zone like feel to it, at least for someone here in the United States where we're not really used to that. And so it's just really crazy. Like, it really is. I don't know. It's nothing that I've ever seen, and I've lived here my whole life. So, and we've had plenty of storms, and this has probably been the worst storm that I've ever seen come through. And I think that we're just going to continue to see these terrible storms because it's just the way of the world. It's just the way of the environment. I think we're just in a really rough space. And the more swampland and the more stuff that gets torn down and the more cookie cutter houses that are being put up, the more those storms are going to come through and just rip us apart, because there's nothing to kind of stop the storms. Like up north, it would be like a mountain that would kind of slow it down, you know, or several mountain range, right? But here, that's not the case. We're flat, and those trees are the only thing buffering those storms and the wind and breaking that wind up so it doesn't just like annihilate us. So anyway, but you know, I can't change that. Only our county commissioners can stop the growth, and they're not going to, because like I said before in the other video, my documentary video, is that, you know what, they're filling their pockets and they're getting kickbacks, and that's just a fact. That is how politicians work, and that is no different here in Florida. If anything, it's worse, because they love having their pockets filled or getting a kickback from somebody. So I don't know. And where are you gonna move to? Look at just what happened in North Carolina. We got property in North Carolina, and we're near the Fontana Dam, and there ain't no way. There ain't no way, dude. I do not want water to come gushing out of that dam and kill us. Nobody wants that. So, I'm not saying it would happen, but it could happen now. So now it gives me food for thought that I'm thinking, like, this is crazy. Oh, guys, what a mess. But anyway, it's beautiful outside today. Clear sky, which has been nice because there's not really honestly been that much air traffic. The wind, it's just kind of breezy out. It feels good. It's probably about 75, which is personally how I like it. It's a nice temperature. It's not too hot, not too cool. We're trying to get the garden back together. We haven't been able to make a lot of dump runs because, again, we're worried about the gas. So we are thinking that we may just burn it, and you know, you can use that ash around the garden and kind of keep maybe the ants down. That's a good thing. So we're rethinking about how we want to move forward. We don't really have a burn area. My neighbors do. So I don't know that we'll be borrowing their burn pit area, but we might be trying to build something ourselves or do something ourselves. So we're considering that right now. Plus it would save gas. Honestly, that's the big thing right now. But yeah, just prep. That's what you gotta do. You gotta not fight with people. You don't want the guns pulled out on you from the popos. And just try to be kind to one another, man. We're all in this together. And like I said, you gotta know your neighbors. You gotta surround yourself with good people, and just do the best you can in these situations. We can't be fighting each other. That's what they want. They want the natives to be restless. Trust me, they want us to go to jail and all kinds of stuff. So you guys gotta stay safe out there. Love one another, be kind. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Like, if you prep and you prepare for these types of situations, and you're trying to grow stuff in your garden, if you can, then, you know, hopefully this craziness will be a little bit less on you. So I planted some more seeds. That's what I've been doing. Y'all saw me doing the black-eyed peas. I planted some more seeds out here. We're gonna hope and pray that in the next couple months before we get frost, that I'm gonna be able to get some arugula up or something that's maybe really short term, like some turnips or some radishes, something I can just get out of the garden very quickly and at least feel like I got somewhat of a harvest this year. I did pull up some sweet potato greens and I didn't see any sweet potatoes, so I'm getting a little bit worried about that there may not be any sweet potatoes and this could have been a complete waste. Now you can eat sweet potato greens, but you know, you can only eat so many sweet potato greens. So little cake has a vet appointment tomorrow. Everyone stay blessed, love one another, be kind, be praying for us here in Florida, be praying for North Carolina, be praying for Georgia. We are definitely having it rough right now. Pray for everybody because the world's in, at least the United States, we're in some chaos right now, y'all. So, you know, food shortages, all kinds of stuff. So, all right, everyone, until next time, be good.